Hey, gang, Carl White here, broadcasting from the secret headquarters here at the Mortgage Marketing Animals. You're listening to Loan Officer Freedom, #1 podcast in the world today for loan officers. And I've got I'm your co-pilot today, the pilot in command, because he says he is, Mr. Steve Kiles. How you doing, Steve?
Good, man. So I'm the pilot because I say I'm the pilot. Wow.
Well, yeah, man.
That's a lot of power.
Words of power, man. I've
That's
learned
it,
that. God
man.
knows I've learned that from you. You're literally the best scripter. You're the best conversations by design person that I personally know of. And yeah, words are powerful, man. Words are powerful. So
For
good
sure
and
they
bad,
are.
by the way. And I'm grateful that yours are always done, at least of everything I've ever seen, for good. So I appreciate you, man. Hey, so I want to talk about something today, and I got to be careful how I do this because I mean it out of love and respect, and I want it to come across that way. So I was in a Facebook group the other day, ran by a dear friend of mine, Michael. So Mike, super nice guy, Mike Fisher, real nice guy. And I was in this Facebook group, and one of the LOs, hey, I'm really struggling. I'm going through a hard time. Man, I need some help. And somebody said, hey, well, I get a lot of good stuff from Insert In podcast. And it wasn't mine. It wasn't yours. It was another one, right? They're not as good, of course, right? I mean, let's just be honest here, but there's some other good ones, right? There are, there are. Most of them are friends of ours. So somebody said, hey, go listen to this Insert In podcast. I've gotten some good stuff from it, right?
Yep.
And the guy said, oh, I've listened to that one a couple of times. They're trying to sell, they do commercials for some coaching that they do, just like what we do, right? Just like we do here. They do, or they have a program or system. I don't even know what the program or system is as I'm sitting here saying this today, but I would imagine I know what it's something like it's like, right? They got a system or program, coaching program, website, something, for loan officers. And so the dude said, yeah, I don't want to listen to that podcast and get this great advice from them because they're trying to, they're in addition to that, they're trying to sell me something, right? And I thought, man, that guy is in for a hard time.
Yeah.
He's in for a really hard time. One thing I've learned is good salespeople think sales is a good thing. Mm-hmm. Bad salespeople think sales is a bad thing.
That's interesting. Talk about that.
Yeah. So that's like, hey, Steve, I'm selling $100 bills for $10. Right? I'm selling $100. So I've got real McCoy $100 bills printed by the U.S. government that I'm selling for $10. You give me $10, and I'll take it. I'll sell you that $100 bill.
I'll wear that thing out.
Yeah. How is that a bad thing? Mm-mm. But in this guy's mind, it was.
Yeah.
Right. And because here he said, yeah, I've listened to it. It was a good podcast, but they're trying to sell me something. So I'm not much of a woo-woo person. But I think there's power in our words, like we said earlier. Mm-hmm. And I think that if we curse people that are offering ideas to us, we're in for a cursed time. I really believe that. Now, I'm not saying that we need to go buy everything. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But out of his own lips, he was saying it was a great podcast, but they're trying to sell something to me. So he thinks selling is he thinks he's hurting people when he's selling to them. I have a different belief system, as I know you do. Yeah. I believe that when you use our mortgage company, right? If you're a consumer, that's and I'm not promoting my mortgage company here on our podcast, because I'm sure as you're listening to this, your mortgage company thinks the same thing, right? And rightfully so, that we as loan officers and we as branch managers are offering solutions. Somebody wants a house. They don't have enough money to buy that house in cash. They need our help. Mm-hmm. We're doing a good thing. So by telling people, hey, use my mortgage company because I'll close you on time to make sure you don't lose the deal and, I don't know, lose your deposit in the process.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, selling the idea that I'm going to close you on time is a good thing, not a bad thing. And I don't see any bad part of that. And if it's in my mind that now, if I think I'm selling crap and I'm going to hurt people,
Yep.
look, I'm going to suck as a salesperson too, because I'm not going to sell you anything that's going to hurt you. But
Sure.
in this case, he's selling mortgages for people buying real estate in the United States. One would assume that he must at some level believe that's a good idea. Why is it bad to offer that to? I just, it was beyond me when I read that. I didn't know really how to respond to it. Like, why would you think selling something that people want and that's going to help people? Why do you think that's a bad thing? Am I making sense here?
Well, there's not a belief in what he's doing. I mean, there's got to be a belief that what we're doing is adding value to our agent partners, to our clients, to the people who need our service. And man, it's a big deal.
So I'm not a woo-woo kind of guy, where I believe that, well, if you just believe something, it'll automatically come true, right?
Sure.
I don't believe that. But I do believe that when we say things and our ears hear us say that thing, that our brain then starts to work on ways to make that thing come true. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I say to myself, I'm going to do a faster 30-mile ride on my bicycle today than I ever have, and then my brain, when I'm pedaling, I made a promise, and I work a little extra hard. So in this, I don't think, like, how we buy from other people affects how people buy from us. In other words, let's say I'm at the mall and I'm looking at a pair of jeans.
Yeah.
And the salesperson comes up to me, says, "Hey, can I help you?" "No, go away. Leave me alone." Well, guess what's going to happen on my next call when I'm talking to my next realtor or my next buyer?
Yeah.
I'm going to get the same thing.
Yeah.
And I know this might sound crazy, but I have found that to be true. Or like when I go buy a car or a motorcycle or a boat, I'm pleasant to the people, and I find people are now pleasant to me. And I think, however you act in your business, that's how people are going to act towards you in your business. I'm a firm believer in that. I don't know how that works. I don't know why that works, but I do know 100% it does work. And so we have to be very careful on, if I'm, yeah, if I'm cussing people advertising to me,
Yeah.
people are going to cuss me when I go ask them for business, or when I go make an offer to work with me. I'm going to get the same thing in return. It just works that way. So just be very careful of the things that you say. And yeah, I'm kind of rambling here a little bit, but this is a really big deal. The way we buy from other people is the way they buy from us. And if you have a thing against salespeople, man, it's going to be tough. I mean, I don't know that that's the one thing I don't have a workaround. Like, I think I got a solution for pretty much anything. But if you think salespeople is bad,
Yeah.
And
Sales are
salesperson
salesy. Asking for business
is a bad
salesy.
word.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna be
Man,
tough.
it's going to be tough. Like, I don't know of a better way of saying it. It's going to be tough. And again, I'm not saying I need to buy everybody something, because I don't. I don't even listen to everybody's pitch, but I'm just careful how I phrase it in my mind, or I'm careful how I tell them, "Hey, not today, not right now." Like, I don't know.
I
Maybe
think
we'll
it's
end
great.
it here. Yeah. I hope this is coming across the way that I mean for it too. That it's but this is a real thing. It is. It's a real thing, and be welcoming for people in your day to day, and people will be welcoming into you. I don't know if it's an aura thing that we build, or I don't know what it is, but it's definitely a real thing. So, any experience with that yourself?
Yeah. Well, and it's almost like like you attract what you are, and the way you approach sales, the way you respond to other salespeople. I 100% agree. I think you attract what you are. And I think it's a principle. Can I prove it? No, but I can sure tell you, man, when you're kind, people are kind back. When you're not, you'll just find it coming right back to you. And Carl, I think it just goes back to the mindset. When we take the word sales out and we add something like, it's my opportunity, my gift of value. I'm not selling, but I'm purposely offering what we can do, because Carl, we know the value of a smooth and on time, flawless closing. We know the value of making sure we protect our agent partners' commissions. We know the value of following up. We know the value. And when you flip the mindset, we're not selling, we're providing value that's benefiting not only our industries, but families and our community. It shifts. We're not selling, we're making a difference. And it's purpose driven in our activities. But in order to be able to help families, you've got to be able to ask. It's like you said earlier, and I don't know, I think it was on an earlier podcast we recorded. If you're not asking, you're not going to get. If I don't ask you, Carl, what I'm looking for, you don't even know I'm looking for it. So,
I remember my first grade teacher. I do. I remember my first grade teacher, and brother, that's been a while ago, right? But Mrs. Hemming, I can see her in my mind's eye right now, Mrs. Hemming. And I also remember the real estate agent that sold me my first house. Right. I also remember the real estate agent that sold me my second, my third, my fourth. I can remember each one of the real estate agents that helped me buy each one of my houses. And I think it's really cool. Like I think of them so my first real estate agent, her name was Debbie.
Yeah.
And she helped Maria and I buy our first house.
Yep.
And man, I'd like to see Debbie again, say, hey, Debbie, like, how's it been? And gosh, look what, when you sold us that first house and helped us overcome our fears, look what became of it. Like this empire, it's a small empire, but this empire built out of all this, and you played a part in that. And so that salesperson was part of the process. I think of Ed's the one that sold me my first motorcycle, right? All the joy, all the journeys, all the adventures I've had on that bike with me and my buddies. And now my son, my wife has a bike, she goes riding. And all that came from Ed selling my first bike.
Yeah.
And I don't look at Ed as that sleazy salesman that sold me that first, dude, he's the one that opened up just an amazing, or Leon sold me my first motorhome. Dude, the times, the family growth that we've had in that motorhome, and the ones since
priceless.
then, it's priceless. And so I don't look at Leon, he's that sleazy guy that sold me that motorhome. Dude, he's that guy that got it. So my whole family is sitting in, I don't know how many square feet a motorhome is, but we're let's say confined to this small little area. And we had great times because everybody's at the same place. And we're playing cards and playing games and charades and all these wonderful things, all because Leon sold us our motorhome. So sales is a good thing. Sales isn't a bad thing. So anyway,
I think
thanks.
Topic.
Thanks so much for being a part of what we're doing. We really appreciate it. Hey, could I ask you to forward this to 3 of your favorite loan officer friends? I promise you they'll appreciate it, and I will. I would too. And if you would do me a favor, a little off topic here, but we are doing a survey to stop the trigger leads.
Oh yeah.
And so we have thousands and thousands of loan officers that have digitally signed this thing. Once we get to 10,000, I personally am flying up to DC and handing it to Congress. So if you go to stoptriggerleads.com, you'll see a survey, a petition there. Read the petition. If you agree with it, you can digitally sign it. And on that page, we have training on how to overcome the trigger leads. Dude, so did I tell you, Steve, the other day, a whole different topic. I probably shouldn't do this, but it really kills me.
Yeah.
So a lady in our office applied for a mortgage. In a 48-hour period, got 147 contacts.
Wow.
147 contacts from trigger leads. And so we want to stop this. It's bad for the industry. It's bad for our clients. It's a harassment. And we want to stop it. So stoptriggerleads.com, stoptriggerleads.com. Thank you for letting us be part of your day. We appreciate you being part of ours, and we'll see you on the next episode of Loan Officer Freedom. Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you.